Hi everyone, I just want you to know that I've had a very amazing day. I actually had a very amazing week, actually. You know, with hard work comes great wisdom. How about that one? You know, if you knew better, you'd do better. If you watch the videos, you're going to get happier because you're going to realize that I've been telling the truth all along. You know, whether it's George Fairhart jumping up and down in front of me saying, now your dad's our slave, now your dad's our slave. And the stories I've told the officers that's been around, whether you're a law officer or whether you're a park ranger, you're still an officer, and these here officers know each other, you know, and they probably tell each other a little bit of information about each other. I think it was Evan. Well, anyway, the gentleman that I talked to earlier today, you know, I know that I told him, I said, I've got too much information. I've got a lot of information. And it just stems down to, hey, I've had a strong belief in the Holy Father all my life. I didn't know I was being used in any way, shape, or form. And just be happy. It could have been worse. You could end up with Donald Trump as your nice guy that you're supposed to follow to victory lane, but it's not. You know, that's what I have to say about that. And for anybody out there that knows me, hey, it's cool. Yashua's the Lord. Get over it. Stay out of sight, out of mind. You're better off. Hey, if you please the Holy Father, you pleased me. If I see it and you give me a little smile, hey, great, wonderful, the whole 9 yards. You know, what Eve has done, and Satan and the Holy Father, they tell me that they're in control. You know, I'm outnumbered by 3. So I just hang in there, and I can make Eve's life miserable. She's like the wife that I guess I always had, that was just there all the time, you know. Whether it was giving me inspiration to do this or that, you know, or doing wrong, because there's a lot of times when, you know, Eve really didn't mind me doing certain things because, hell, just think how much shit she's done. It just makes her feel a little bit better that I've been humanized. Oh yeah, like a dog having a little newspaper whack, whack, whack on your nose, talking about the newspaper. Headlines, all that stuff, the Zodiac, all this here stuff, how boom, boom, boom things have been. You know, this whole thing, then it comes down to what happened on Friday the 13th, the whole 9 yards with that one. And what I'm saying is true, is totally true, and I just can't lie. It's just really not in our advantage to lie. The really advantage is to learn to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And if you put your hand on the Bible, someday you might have to confess every word that you said is a lie. I don't mind confessing things that I know that are absolute lies, but I've rarely had to lie about things because I've just enjoyed telling the truth, because the truth just goddamn kills. I wasn't a part of it. Isn't this fun now? What's going on here? What have you been doing? You know, my dad has sent me to check on these family members. For example, one time was when they were fixing Jim's septic pipe at his house, and Ernie and Jerry and everybody was there. Apparently George knew they were there, because George calls me and asks me to go over there and check on them. What happened while I was away from Chehalis? What happened? I don't know. I can only imagine. I lived at the Elgin Arms building. There's my mom's house. It's actually a hotel. An old boarding house, I believe. The Star Bar, what used to be next door, and my mom's house used to actually be like this whorehouse next door. And I know because I had an old man come to the door and say, is the LG still open? Yeah, you know, can I get a girl? Well, you know, wanting to come through the side door that was next to Ralph Box's house, you know, and I ended up moving over to Ralph's house, and boy, my mom didn't like that. She threw all of my stuff out. It was like, what the fuck's going on with this person? I moved next door so I could just, you know, well, they wanted my money all the time, but money is the root of all evil, and that's why Terry Lance Shortridge was murdered on my bed, was the $200,000 from the D.B. Cooper stunt. Well, heading up to it, I was in California when Michael Mujo and Darlene was down at the 4th of July event down at the park, ways away from our motorhome in Antioch, California, across the street from Orange Grove. And I've looked at the whole place. I just look at everything, research everything. So anyway, right there I was in California. The radio came on, said the Zodiac just struck. We're just sitting there watching it, all of us. My dad comes in the camper. I said, Dad, the Zodiac just struck. You know, Dad, the Zodiac just struck. He's nowhere near us. You know, he shouts out. No, he's no. He just said that he struck. You know, he's nowhere. You know, tried to scare you so you forget what's happening. You know, and then you're just supposed to forget everything. They just, you know, you don't remember nothing. I remember everything. I remember Jerry Wright taking a swing at me with a screwdriver in his hand. He was going to stab me right in the head with it. And you know what happened? His hand froze. I looked around his hand. I go, what the fuck? Because it should just, and he was just like stuck. I couldn't believe it, and it happened. Hey, Jerry, do you remember that? Right there where you come on to the bowling alley property from down the ways where Cooper's trailer was that we purchased for the bowling alley from Cooper's. Cooper, you know, that Earl Cooper, and Dad was the Cooper. VFW Hall, Veterans of Foreign Wars. Hey. I know what went on. How about 50 American servicemen that got murdered in Beirut, Lebanon? And I told that guy that was here today, hey, this goes back to John F. Kennedy, and do you notice? Oh, that's Hezbollah in the Middle East. Fairhearts are from Lebanon, and did you notice Lebanon got fucking hit? And guess what? My enemy's ashes will be under my feet, by the way. And it's been documented, by the way. But anyway, I'm telling the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Yashua inside the cup, Yashua outside the cup. Hey, Memorial Day weekend, I worked out all weekend long. Guy run through town every place. He goes, you're everywhere. I'm saying, you're everywhere. Everywhere I go, you show up. And he does too, because he's everywhere. He says, you are everywhere. You're up here, you're down there, you're over here. You know, and people are keeping track of me, which is nice because, well, hell, I want you to know where the fuck I am, because if something bad happens to Susan Dono, I'm not even in fucking town. I don't want nothing to do with it. And I have bad feelings, and if she gets slaughtered, I don't give a fuck. Did I say that too? Hey, Yashua inside the cup, Yashua outside the cup. I'm trying to be nice. Hey, isn't my leg start getting nicer looking? Hey. I didn't go up on Beacon Rock today, see my face? Hey, they put my face all over the United States of America on wanted posters. They put Jerry's face on wanted posters too. Jerry, I want you. That's what I told those people up there on the bridge. They said they were Kim and Rick's friends. Kim, Rick. He got the Rick Kim car. I believe I signed it that way. But this here was the Kim Rick car. That was the Rick Kim car. This is the Kim Rick car. Oh, even if they both say Kim Rick, he both knows that ladies are first, and it's no big. Well, it is a big deal. Ladies, you came from the side of the rib. That's the problem. It's no big deal. The fuck it's not. Ladies, you're on the left-hand side. They're forcing you into the men's side. Why? So they confuse everybody, this gender thing. Oh, and there's people that talk to me about this gender thing in the United States of America. They're foreigners. They go, we don't get what's... Oh, I get what's going on. Hey, switching bathrooms to left and right during lockdown, and also Donald Trump doing the having lunch with the Chinese leader, you know, and blowing up something in Lebanon. You know, how about that one? You know, hey, Lebanon, right there in the bowling alley and stuff like that. What do you think? Oh, by the way, Lewiston, Maine and Lewis County, Washington, both has a bowling alley and both is in question. I think Colorado does too. There's another one down there that got all shot up and stuff. And it's a widespread thing that's in bowling alleys that's happened. Oh, the one in Colorado, they've changed that bowling alley into a K-9 training center. The cops are in there. The cops are in these bowling alleys too. Hey, dirty cops, just fess up the truth. You know, your hand got caught in the cookie jar with the D.B. Cooper stuff. Hey, I wouldn't mind having a little money off all this goddamn free publicity I got with this shirt thing going on. Hey, look at that free publicity. Can you beat that on free publicity? And on Labor Day at 7 p.m. a man walked towards me up there at the steamboat landing, and we talked and stuff. You know, I kidded him into a thing that says, do you see what they put in here? You see what the cameras put in here? This creek, river, whatever, and this thing. If this Matthew Thomas comes forward, he's going to say, this happened. You know, and it did happen, and it happened here in Camas, too. The witchcraft that happened at 1007th Street, to the Sharia woman down here, and Eve and Satan, and this whole goddamn thing that happened down here. Friday the 13th and all this, the Jack Benny stuff. Hell, I never watched Jack Benny before Friday the 13th. I'm as big as shocked as everybody. Now, I'm going to upload this. I'm not going to run it too much. This is about 13 minutes. 13 for the Zodiac. Well, I can tell you lots of things now about the Zodiac. And we're going to have to stay tuned because I like to keep you informed as I'm being informed. Tonight, I think I'm going to go down and go fishing on the other side of Beacon Rock. Down below, I'm going to go fishing on the docks for a couple hours, and maybe I'll film something and flip it up later. And 13 minutes, I'm out of here. Who loves you, baby? Yashua does. And Yashua is the Lord's name. And you have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.